chip. Okay, here we are at South La Jolla. We ran our camera from the cleanout on the south side driveway side. We put a hose in the cleanout in the backyard, and that's where we're at right now. We turned the hose off, but this is where the pipe dips down, and this is the cleanout right here. So we're going to run the camera from that cleanout back to the city connection once we're done with this recording. So the pipe is 4-inch cast iron. It is very porous and rough. It has been descaled recently, but you can't see that there is some buildup still in there. It is in working condition. We don't see any backups, but it is kind of at the end of its life because of the age and the material. So as we're pulling it back, you can see that it's flattened out on the bottom. It should be round like the top, which means there's a lot of scale buildup, calcium buildup, which is that white stuff you see right there. We're not a fan of the descaling because it does sometimes damage the pipe, because you're basically knocking a chain around in a cast iron pipe, which is very old. It could cause more problems than good. We always prefer to replace the pipe if it's in that bad a shape. Sometimes you end up having to do that anyway, and then you end up paying double. So as we pull it back, coming straight back from the backyard to under the house, and as we're getting closer, there is going to be a small spot where some water is settled. Looks like some paper was settled as well. Here's the turn right here, and this is where you see that paper. The pipe is still dry, so it does have a proper fall at this point. But you can see that the rough cement, the rough cast iron does hold it from falling through. So this is what they're talking about. This some water settled right here. To me, that's really not a big deal, because if you can see my camera when I pull it out, the camera lens is approximately 1 inch from the floor. So that means that any water that you see is going to be, if it's not completely submerged in water, you're only talking about a 1/4 inch to maybe a 1/2 inch of water, and that was even less than that. So a belly is not your issue, at least in this section of the pipe. Once we run it through the next cleanout, there might be an area that has a little belly. So this is where the ABS cleanout was installed. You can see it goes from cast iron here to plastic, newer plastic ABS, which then turns into this cleanout that I'm pulling my camera out of now. Okay. So like I was saying, if you look at my lens,
yeah, about 1 inch there.
Yeah. So if it's submerged underwater, that means that it would be underwater. So that little bit of water is really minor, if at all. I wouldn't even noticed it, or I wouldn't have just even mentioned it. It could be just a flat spot. A belly is basically where the pipe goes downhill and then back uphill, and that collects water. And it's usually completely underwater when you have something that is serious.